What is up, guys? Welcome to another Boom Beach video. So I've just reached rank 21 literally 21 minutes ago there. So as you can see over here, this was the fight that I won rank 21. This was the previous one where I was at rank 20. I was at rank 20 for a couple of days now. So I'm just going to break it down for you and show you. So I'm on a nice little win streak over here, as you can see, win streak times 6. And I'll just show you a couple of the ways I've been attacking so that you guys can have a good idea of how perhaps you should attack, or if there's any tips that you guys can take away from this. So here's the type of base that you will most often see typically. Now this base was a little bit unusual in having a rocket launcher right over here. Now most bases are having, they're rocking the sky shield, they're rocking two shock launchers, which is pretty difficult to attack with. Now, some players do use smoky bullet, heavies, perhaps warriors, and try and simply destroy one engine room. Now that is great, but I simply don't do that. I simply try and go full on, go for the damage as well, and try to at least take down one engine room at the back there sometimes. So in this attack, I was using heavy Zuko over here. I do use 3 boats of Zuko's over here, and the rest of them as heavies, just to have enough heavies on their front lines to cover the Zukas. I did BART out an engine room there with my maxed out artillery there. So over here I tried to do a reflare, try and get all the heavies out in front, brought out bullet. I do usually typically delay drop just so I can save some heavies there. And in this attack, unfortunately, I didn't take out this rocket launcher, and it was simply attacking my Zukas at the back there. So this I knew from this point this attack was almost done anyway, because the rocket launcher was over here, was going to be attacking at the back. So right now all the shock launchers are starting to come into play over here. All my Zukas at this point are literally gone. There's no I activated bullets taunt there, and all I'm simply going for here is damage percentage. So that was it. I went for damage percentage there, and let's take a look. So this player that did go against me, he did all heavy, so he is trying to rush over here. Now this attack combination works um because sometimes they can flare, sometimes they don't, but sometimes the patting across the wall over there allows them to come all the way over here, because it's some sort of glitch or error in the game, and it allows any troops that walk over there to walk a little bit more ahead and come over here. So as you can see over here, he's trying to activate taunt and get all these damage off him. I did put a shock launcher over here to try and negate that type of attack. So let's see if he's able to take down one or not. Let's see. I do think that he walked over almost all of my mines, so he doesn't have that many heavies left. But his bullet is powerful enough to take down one engine by itself, at least one anyway. And at this point, now my other shock launcher is coming to play, shocking bullet over here, and he simply is not able to get another engine off of me. Now, in terms of base design over here, this base design I found works typically really well. The only time I typically lose is when players do manage to flare, manage to get their troops right over here, and they take down perhaps one or two engine rooms. Some players bring warriors and are able to destroy all three, which is pretty unfortunate. This is a central shock point, so any player that's able to shock once or twice over here and over here is able to, get a good amount of engine rooms. In terms of defenses, I've had this base ever since I got up to 4 engine room, and I've said typically the way it's been designed is that these buildings over here simply direct the troop path all the way over to the right hand side over here. So it moves them over to the right hand side, and it leaves them open on this side over here for for these buildings to destroy heavies typically. So as you can see, there's loads of boom cannons over here. I did take the multi-node option at the start, which did slow me down at the start, but it turns out pretty good in the long run anyway, because you will be going typically against either heavies or as tanks anyway. So over here, so as the troops go over here, The rocket launchers start destroying it. The shock launcher sometimes comes into play. The boom cannon, of course, everyone typically has their boom cannon over here just to try and snipe off a couple of heavies as they turn around this corner typically. I did leave a flamethrower over here simply because sometimes players that use heavy smoke or warrior smoke to flare over to the engine room over there just to damage them over here. Flamethrowers do damage over 5 seconds over here, so that's why I tend to space them out over here so that they constantly get damaged over 5 seconds as they walk across the base. So which is why they are pretty nicely spread out over the base. This mortar over here sometimes comes in clutch when they're typically reflaring over here. Reflaring right over here. So they typically reflare over here, and sometimes the mortar is able to pick out a couple of Zukas sometimes. Boom cannons right over here. Sometimes I did have mines over here in the middle as well, but I moved all that over here. I moved all the mines around the wall. Typically, sometimes they flare over here as well with the mines. A lot of mines over here to try and negate them from using this tactic over here where they flare. Shock launcher. I did have a rocket launcher over here, but I changed it for a shock launcher. I think shocking the troops once they get up to this point is much better than having a rocket launcher there. Over here I do have my rocket launchers over here. I am a little bit worried sometimes that you can shock all these and you can shock all four boom cannons over here, but it's a give and take over here. So the enemy can either keep spending loads of shocks over here and leaving them open for this side over here. So it typically just makes them waste a lot of GBE trying to shock my base over here. There's a couple of shock points. There's a shock point over here. You can shock all three of these if they wanted. They can shock all three over here if they want their troops to stay alive long enough. There's a couple of boom cannons over here to stop and destroy any tanks or heavies. So let's just go over to one of these attacks over here. Let's take a look at my replay over here. Now this base is I'm starting to see this base a little bit more often, and the way I typically destroy this is I typically destroy if there is a shock launcher over on this side over here, anything over on the left of this side, I typically destroy the shock launcher or else the doom cannon. Typically it's a shock launcher because it stuns your troops and you don't want that to happen. I do most of the time use tanks because tanks simply stay up long enough rather than heavy Zuka because Zukas simply don't have enough health to be able to survive all these mines. So that's why I use tanks more often. Now I use two boats of heavies over here, and I delay drop them just to save my tanks a little bit at the start. And if the enemy has cannons at the front, I typically don't drop any critters because I don't want to waste GBE at the start. Not too much anyway. You need all your GBE at the end, especially at the back over here, since you have to shock all these quite a amount. So over here, my heavies are in front, my tanks are in the back, which just as I want. The heavies are simply lasting for perhaps about 5 seconds at a time. And now it's just my bullet over here. Do I have another? No, I don't. I don't have another. I've already dropped my two bolts of heavies over here. I do have bullets taunt. Now previously I was using shock knuckles, which was good for me sometimes, especially when the base was clustered. But I found out that taunt works better simply because the way taunt works, it limits the damage hit to 50 each time a building hits it. So it just makes bullet last a little bit longer. And some of my final battles, which I'll show you, did come down to taunt and bullet being able to survive long enough to destroy a couple more engine rooms. Over here at this point, all I typically want is one or two engine rooms over here. I noticed the boom cannon over here. I simply can't do anything there. Perhaps I can put a shock over here, but I won't get any more. I'm not going to flare or anything. I'm just going to let them free clear and get more damage. So that was this attack over here. I'll just show you my last two attacks, which I just played literally within the last hour or so, which helped me get up to rank 21 over here. Now, as you can see, another type of clustered base. Now, for this one, I wanted to take out this shock launcher so it doesn't shock my troops. The rockets, they're they're not doing too much damage against tanks anyway. So tanks is relatively a nice troop to go. They have a decent amount of health and a decent amount of damage they do compared to heavy Zukas anyway. So I use 4 max artilleries to take out the shock launcher. Now I have Bullet out in front. Activate his taunt straight away so that the damage is limited to 50 damage per building. Activating taunt every single way, allowing the tanks to walk in a line and simply destroy as they go along. I do have one more boat, I believe. Yeah, one more boat. I delay drop. It's important to delay drop and not drop all your troops at once, because you're simply going to get destroyed all at once at the beach. So over here I'm taunting once again. I'm not wasting any GBE on shocks or anything. Not yet anyway, just on taunt. And as you can see right now, it is working. These couple of heavies, they're walking around the side over here. They will provide a little bit of cover against the Doom Cannon at least. Activate taunt again. As you sometimes taunt, it doesn't taunt enough buildings, but it does save Bullet for long enough to destroy a couple of more engine rooms. So over here at this point, the shock launcher is coming to play. Bullet is very low on health, and there's still a couple of boom cannons left in play. So I have enough. I have enough tanks left to be able to destroy one more engine room, and let's see if we're able to get another one. So yeah, we did manage to get that last second to last engine room, and at this point we had two boom cannons and a shock launcher. We simply went for destruction points, destroying the enemy player. So we'll just fast forward this part anyway. They're going to get destroyed pretty quickly. I did put critters over here because critters, if you drop critters onto the boom cannons, the machine gun is simply going to destroy it. Putting critters at the dead spot of a machine gun is pretty good. It's going to distract the rocket launchers, and it's going to distract the boom cannons. Sometimes it distracts the shock launcher too. So that's an important key tip. If ever you put down critters, put them down inside machine guns, because their dead spots means that if you put down critters over here, the boom cannon will go over here. The machine gun will not be able to destroy them. The mortar will sometimes be able to go for them as well. So this was the boss fight over here, which I won into rank 21 anyway. So over here, this one, let's just pause it for a second. Let's take a look at the base. Now over here, I would not go for heavy Zuka over here, simply because there is too much mines over here, and Zukas, you know, I only bring 3 bolts of Zukas, and one if one of these boom mines go off, they literally destroy a cluster of Zukas, which is simply not good for your damage. So I always bring tanks now. Tanks is mostly my go-to strategy now, at least until I get up to the next engine room and I get bombardiers. I am destroying that shock launcher straight away, just so that I don't have 2 shock launchers shocking Bullet when I get up there. Over here, I won't distract these boom cannons. I will let them take a couple of shots off because I don't want to waste that GBE. Over here, I will try and distract that cannon, but unfortunately it doesn't work, and it turns around just as soon as possible as the critters get destroyed by the mines over here. Now let's see, do I have Bullet out in front? I do have Bullet out in front, and he's at the correct side over here, so he can taunt the shock launcher, and he can taunt their doom cannon over here once he gets around to it. So that's nice. You know, we don't care if the tanks go over boom mines. It doesn't matter. We have plenty of them, so we just worry about keeping Bullet alive with his taunt. So at this point, I did drop that secondary boat of heavies just to supplement, help out Bullet over here at this point in time. Sometimes there is one cannon over there. I decided to shock it this time instead of crittering it, because if you critter it, the flamethrowers are simply going to destroy them in a second. So it's better to just to shock at that time. So over here, Bullet is just about to die. I did take out most of the boom cannons over here, but unfortunately the rocket launchers were still in play, And see, as you can see, I did flare the boom cannon over here. That was the most deadliest. And then I tried to reflare in order to be able to at least get one engine room at this point. Unfortunately, the flare was too close to that flamethrower, and it destroyed two of our tanks at once. And over here, at this point, the enemy did a retreat. He didn't get any engine rooms, and I'll show you that attack in just a second. But over here, if that rocket launcher wasn't in play, I would have been able to get that engine room as well. So we'll just fast forward this. I did, make pretty nice amount of damage at his engine room anyway. So as you can see, destroying that rocket launcher over there beside the engine room really did help. It prevents your tanks from being slowed down too much. I'll show you the enemies replay over here. This player. Sometimes when players see this base, they know that they can't attack it. Typically, by getting one engine room, sometimes most players will win by getting one engine room, since it is so difficult to get even one engine room at this point in the game. So he's gonna drop his troops sometime over here. He does have barrage, so he went that route. So he does have barrage. We know he has smoke then. Let's see what he's trying to do. He's trying to he wastes. I would not have wasted my barrage just taking out a rocket launcher for that matter. Unless he has those GBE nodes. I only have one of those nodes. I believe there's 2 or 3 GBE nodes. I didn't get them all. I only got one of them. So over here, one of the mistakes he does is smokes. His Zukas are not covered in smokes, and the Zukas are simply going to die to this flamethrower over here once they pass this. As you can see, all of them die straight over here, and as a matter of fact, his bullet is right beside that shock launcher, and he's already taken so much damage over here. He's forgotten to reflare over here. He probably doesn't have enough energy left to reflare anyway. Uh, uh, all the machine guns are coming into play. The 2 boom cannons over here, this other machine gun, and that the flamethrower beside the wall. They're simply wrecking all his heavies. So that has helped me win. I'll just go over one of the one of my bases that I did not get anything at. So I'll just go over this one anyway. So I'll just show you my replay over here, a failed replay anyway, just to show you what it's like when I fail sometimes, which is 50% of the time perhaps. So let's see, so this one I always take out that shock launcher just so that I don't have 2 shock launchers, stunning preventing my troops from moving forward. In this one, I did decide to go with the heavy Zukas. Now, I went with that because there wasn't too much mines over here. The idea was that I could just critter out some of these mines. He does have a lot of nasty stuff over here that's going to destroy tanks. So I decided to try and go with heavies over here because I have like 6 boats of heavies here. No, 5. I bring 5 boats of heavies. Sorry, 5 boats of heavies. And I think that it will provide enough of a cover for the cannons. So as you can see over here, this mine over here is simply going to destroy it. That's what I mean when I see them. When I see that they're going to go over a mine, and I drop a critter, it's simply too late. The box takes about 2 seconds to go across, by which time the Zukas have already crossed that path. No matter what I do. At this point, I was using shock knuckles, which was working for me for a time. It does help with bases that are seriously clustered together, but unfortunately, it doesn't help with getting engine rooms, which is what the most important thing right now is to do. If you are having trouble getting engine rooms, the first thing I would suggest is maxing out your artillery so that you can BART out an engine room at least. Yeah, BART out an artillery. No, BART out an engine room, sorry. Yeah. So it did take me a while, but I managed to max out my artillery, and I am able to. I think it's about 7 barrage at this point. When you have 4 engine rooms, about 7 or so, which isn't too much anyway. If you are going that route, simply use heavy Zukas over here. So heavy Zukas in the base to simply get damage percentage. uh, so farm GBE and then simply unload all your artilleries into one of the engine rooms and simply hope for the best, because it is really hard to collect engine rooms at this point. As you can see over here, I do have two diamond chests waiting for me, and it's going to be a while before I can actually fully collect all these chests anyway. I may even fall back down in rank. I'll try and collect them in diamond, but it's a bit very difficult to do that. So in my country, I am number 6th. I have 55%. Let's just take a look at the top global leaderboard. Let's just take a look at the warship over here. So let's see, this player, I did. Once these players reach the next end room, or past the next end room, sorry. So let's just go over here. So this is probably 7 end room, probably. So the reason this base is so spread out is because this player is going to be using heavy chopper flares. So he's going to be flaring from engine room to engine room. Now I really want to try and get up there, but I'm not sure if I will be able to get up there this season. I'll try my best anyway. So I'm still holding out on getting the next engine room, simply because I want to be able to get bombardiers straight away. If you don't get bombardiers, you're simply stuck with perhaps seekers, and seekers aren't going to be as powerful because they don't have the extra health to see.